It's time for a detox. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the pod. I'm Mike Dreyden Figueroa, and this is Unscripted and Unrehearsed, where I give you my take on events of the day, things I've seen, heard, and experienced. Yes, sir. Good morning to you. What do you want? Okay. This week, there's been a lot going on. I found myself in the trap. I got suckered in. Found myself obsessing over likes, follows, comments, not not so much like who was or how many, but like if there's been traction or there's any activity traction, I guess, So um, I feel like I've been obsessed, but gauging it all, I don't think I was really. I'm just doing the normal work part of following how this pod is going, other things I'm working on. But I found that it's been occupying a lot of my attention where I can't focus on a lot of stuff. That and with an aside, social media itself, scrolling through Instagram and uh, Facebook, which as a side note, I've tried to leave Facebook so much, but I just can't because there's always that one thing that keeps me tied in. I don't know. Um, yeah. So I feel like, are my posts being seen? Are people engaging? Am I engaging? Is what I'm doing interesting? I'm triple checking. Also, the what set me off really was my pre-scheduled posts that I do. Some of them were going live sooner than later, and I was like, did I make a mistake? And there's a glitch in the matrix. So I reset them all, and that's once you do that, I'm double checking what I wrote in one side to another platform, and then I end up stuck in a scroll. And I check the news, and not so much for mostly for the Schadenfreude, um, but then I get stuck there, and it's exhausting. Um, but there's good news. I found ways, some of which I've already been doing from before, but I found ways on how to regain your mental focus and relinquish all the need to double check and get sucked in. How did I phrase it? I forgot how I said it to myself. Uh, but yeah, I want to talk about this. But first, um, the studies are in, and we're going to go into it more later, but the studies are in that social media addiction is a real thing, and its effect on our mental health and well-being has been proven. Um, our focus, how we see ourselves, our comparing to other people, um, just note that a lot of folks are not what they seem online, and not so much their personalities, but there's lights and cameras and makeup and filters and stuff like that. The personality, it's all entertainment. Uh, but yeah, the studies are in on how the platforms, the research alone, and I have links for all of this down below for the articles and the interviews, how they know that social media is addictive. And I'm going to get more into that, but I really want to cover a couple of major news things that made my week. So on Thursday, the news broke that what's her face got fired. Um, and I'm like, it's about fucking time. If you saw any of the clips from the grilling she got at on Capitol Hill, I was like, even the Republican senators there are aware of how it looks. I mean, the optics alone, honestly, for some of them growing a backbone now, I'm like, it's a lot too late, but you know, let's hope maybe we can get something fixed here. Uh, but I'm thinking if it was anyone else, this they would have been pushed out a long time ago. Uh, they grilled her for hours, and one of the things that came out that I found really interesting, and it's all around, all across the board. They have money for her to do what was it, $200 million for an ad campaign? Like they were shooting all over the country, airing it all, buying ad space and all of that. I'm like, 200 million. How much is healthcare? How much is the extension for the ACA? I think it was just not even a drop of that to keep it going. How much is to cover SNAP benefits for people? Medicaid for our seniors? What the actual fuck? So I'm like, all right, they've got money for that and money for these for the war now and for all this other stuff because you know people got to get paid while they're out there doing their duty. Where's that money coming from? Anyway, I can, it's not the tangent I wanted to go on, but it's the point I'm trying to make is if you there's money for this, but there's no money to take care of your people, and that's the frustrating part. But I'm glad she's fired. But they failed to place her spot with another sycophant, um, which I think would be more dangerous because I find that this is going to sound sexist, but I find that men are far more dangerous in position of power than women because I think women have a moral center that men don't, I think. And I think I don't want to generalize, but it's just my observation over the years and thinking about it. Like, what will men do that is like to the 10th power that women will take a breath or take a beat, you know? Am I wrong? I don't know. Some women could be like that too. I'm sure they are. Um, the Texas election shenanigans, y'all. It's this is a prelude to what they're going to try to do during the midterm elections. And so basically, the lieutenant governor, and it works different in Texas than it does here in New York, but the lieutenant governor is an elected position, not like a running mate that gets put in like a vice president. That's how we have it here in New York. He has manipulated the voting system where I don't want to get this wrong and look like a fool, but he's manipulated the system where even it's turned into a runoff with the guy he's running against for the Senate seat for Texas on the Republican side. The guy who's there now, he's no angel, but he's not a danger to the Constitution. He's a constitutionalist, and that's if regardless if you're right leaning or left leaning or whatever. If you're a constitutionalist, then you're for the people because it's about the Constitution without you know what I'm saying. The Constitution is what's protecting all of us for now. Um, but it's the foundation by which this country was built, right? Okay, so this guy, I don't want to say their names because I don't want to put them in my universe here. But he's manipulated where it's turned into a runoff and the voting is not adding up. The other thing they did too was people were being turned away from voting if they weren't in line by 7 p.m. because they gerrymandered the whole state, right? So you had to be the new laws, new policies, what have you. First, if you were not, what they get to do in Texas is really cool. Well, they used to was wherever you were, if there was a polling place, you could go and vote. You didn't have to be in your district. Like here in New York, in Upper Manhattan, I have a district that I'm in that I'm represented by in Congress, and for the Senate, right? Um, and it's also the district that we vote for president. So it's like mine. I think it's 71 for Manhattan, right? District 71 or New York City all, as a whole. We have these little districts, which is fine. You know, it's like that's how they tally stuff. But in Texas, you get to go wherever there's a polling place. That's where you go. You show your ID or whatever, and you sign in, and they have the records there, and boom, you dropped your vote. They changed it for people, and people didn't know, and they're not paying attention to this because they're trying to survive and live their lives. Um, they're they were told they had to go to their district polling places, that they didn't have their information wherever they were. And some of these people have been voting in the same place every time because it's either close to work or close to school or what have you, right? Or it's where they live, um, but it's not in the district. Makes no sense to me. But they did that to them, and so they were like running all over town. Some people didn't get to vote because nobody could find prove their who the person was coming in to vote. It's a shit show, and I feel really bad because I think the most sacred thing that makes us the greatest country in the world and is our fundamental right to vote. And I think that's what the founding fathers fought for the most because of the king trying to get away from all of his bullshit, right? Everybody gets a say. Well, men who own property, not people, but you know what I'm saying. Everybody had a say. That was the point. We all get a say. We decide who's going to represent us. And if we don't like, we have recourse. We vote them out. We protest. We town hall, all of that. So yeah. So this guy, a judge extended it to 9 o'clock because it was, like I said, a crazy shit show, and people were like, "Where do I go? I just want to drop my vote." So here comes the lieutenant governor, and he went to the state Supreme Court and got an injunction, and they stayed it, meaning they stopped what the lower judge said, and the cutoff was at 7. So at this point, no one knows in Texas whether their vote is going to be counted. One. Two, how do you tell if someone was online or not at 7? Because if, me, I want my vote counted. I'm like, I was in line. You people came out. Like, how do you tally that? Do you give, like, how do you do that? I'm just wondering how they're gonna pull this shit off. And so it's what's caused part of the runoff because people couldn't get out to vote and they couldn't get to the right place to vote. Texas is really, oh my God. I don't, my brain is folding in on itself because I'm like, are you that afraid? Because I think what the mentality is that all the bullshit that right-leaning people do to other people, they think they're going to do it to them if they ever get the chance to be in leadership. And what has been the truth? The complete opposite. Because what everyone, from what my perspective, has done is to better us. The ACA, everything. The infrastructure of the country, jobs, our financial systems, getting involved with future, fortifying ourselves for future change and growth and technology, all of that. Our relationships with our counterparts in other countries, that's where normal people's focus is. It's like, how do we grow and be better and defend ourselves and watch out for, shysters and trying to fuck us over, or. But I think their fear is, oh, if they get in power, they're going to do it to us, so let's not let them get any power. Nobody cares about what you're doing in your fucking garden, Karen. Mind your business. And that's what kills me too. The folks that are able to get services who are dirt poor, living in rural middle flyover state, they've been sold a bill of goods that, it's because of that person over there why you can't get a job and nothing's here because they're putting it over. It's all of that bullshit. And then when things start growing and then the Republicans will take credit for it. I ranted again. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that. But that's what I think going on in their heads, and they're that willing to see people of color just be. Somehow in their mind they think we're still property or something to be manipulated. And anyway, the worst part for me, I thought, because I really would have loved to seen her in the Senate, was Jasmine Crockett lost her run against I don't know how to pronounce his name. But he'll be fine. I think he'll be good for Texas and for the Senate. But he's just another, I don't want to sound terrible, but he's a white man. What we needed was, a woman and a woman of color. More women need to be running shit, I think, for a while. Speaking of women running shit, Hillary Clinton, she ain't playing. She ain't letting them play in her face. She ain't letting them play in behind her. She ain't fucking playing. So when I don't know if you saw this part, but I'm calling her the Beetlejuice masturbator. uh, so they subpoenaed the Clintons, who have nothing to do with the shit, especially her, because Benghazi, and she beat them at their own game, and now they're seething just to get her. So what happens? They subpoena her, and they're like, "Well, okay, fine. You want to do this? We're doing it in public." And they're like, "No, we can do it in private. It's more bad." No, public. And they went back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. She's like, "Okay, we'll do it in public, in private, but we're gonna with these stipulations, I think, from their camp, or there was a agreed upon mutual rules of decorum, meaning no leaking photos, no blah blah blah." And what does the Beetlejuice masturbator do? She goes ahead and takes a fucking photo and then leaks it. Now, there's a clip of that coming to light, but right before the lead up to that, they're playing word games with her, and she's like, "No, I had nothing to do with that. That's okay." So then her attorney or one of her people bring up the fact that this photo was leaked, and here you hear Miss Beetlejuice masturbator on the side saying, "I'll take it down right now." Like she was so busted. It's like, "I'm done here. I'm done here, and in front, I'm done here. If this is what we're gonna do, we're following." She went off, and there's other clips that have been released, which I think their head, they're thinking this is making her look bad on how she's reacting to them, but she's like, she's not letting them play word games and spin things and ask the same question 15 different times. She's done playing games. And when they did the conference where what's his face says that he's just surprised at how many times she said, "You're gonna have to ask my husband." Like, what does that have to do with anything? If it's like they're married, yes. They don't tell each other everything. No, their businesses are not the same. They're just because they're married and they're a family, that doesn't mean that we're in the 1940s and 50s where women run everything past their husbands first, or there's a discussion about things. First of all, and that was a fallacy to begin with. And I'm like, she's a grown ass woman. This has nothing to do with her. And for them to say the number of times she said, "You're gonna have to ask my husband," just he doesn't understand it. It's like, does your wife ask you all the time stuff or get your permission for things? Is that what you want? That's what you think life is supposed to be? I think that's the truth. They think women should be subservient to their husbands, and everything is a discussion and a debate. And it's like, "I'm sorry, honey, I'll take the checkbook back." Hmm. I think you notice this. I'm a huge Bewitched fan, and the whole family unit thing was really played out in that show, very much so. Even in the Dick Van Dyke Show, where I think there's an episode where he spanks his wife, or there's a threat of a spank. It's like that's how they. Yeah. So I think I for 6.5 hours, they said she went through this, and then she came out and she did her conference. Then the next day they interviewed her husband, sorry. Um, and the same thing. It's like, this is a fucking joke. It really is. You get people are trying to distance themselves from Epstein. Understood. If they had, because look, I'm not defending the guy, but if you had legitimate business interactions with him and you have no idea about what else is going on, it's like, you show up to a party you're invited to, you're like, "Oh, this is great. I'm moving up in the world. I'm meeting the right people, the right circles. My career is advancing. I'm feeling really proud. Wow, look, I'm in the room with so and so, and ooh." That's what I get a lot of these people are experiencing, and they're like, "Okay, look, first of all, I had nothing to do with all of that. I didn't know this is what now they have to do." A simple look, "I didn't have anything to do with that," doesn't suffice anymore. And I feel bad that people have to be very transparent with a simple business transaction or an inquiry. Epstein had a lot of money, and people were trying to fund their projects. Just like I'm trying to fund the reboot of the web series. I'm going through all kinds of channels and asking for money again, which I hate doing. You know, it's that, and I feel bad, but that's where we are with these people trying to protect themselves, I guess. So that was another joyful moment for the week, watching the clips come through of her like not playing games with him. Send trending, send BARRON. Ooh, he's 19 years old now, and I feel like I can say he has a face that I don't trust what's going on behind those eyes. Um, one, I really don't. It's in the arrogance too. There's been leaked audio of him saying some real crazy shit. But 97.1% of people polled said yes to Barron being drafted into the U.S. Armed Forces and shipped off to war in Iran. And South Park writer, I think he is, Toby Morton. He trolled the whole thing and he created a website. This is Draft Baron Trump. It's a real website. Draft Baron Trump. It's comedy gold, man. It's comedy gold. But yeah, check it out. The links are below, but you can remember. You can remember that. Uh, hey, the actor awards were fun. Listen, this is one of the award shows that I like because it's about actors acknowledging actors. It's not like, you know, the bigger institution or whatever, people feeling like they had to do the whole um, circuit thing and kiss ass and hopefully get nominated or whatever. Um, it's from stories I've been told, allegedly. But the actor awards, which used to be the SAG-AFTRA Awards, which is the union, they honor their own, which I think is really cool. Um, actors honoring actors. Carrie Russell getting her award for The Diplomat. If you haven't seen that show, oh my God, it's genius. It's absolutely well written, well played. It is fucking genius, and I'm mad that it goes by so fast, and I get so sucked in, and I love it so much. I want more, and it's like, and I can watch it over and over again. Well, first of all, there's no show on this planet that will ever make me watch it over and over again outside of Heated Rivalry because it's Heated Rivalry, and I'm still addicted. Anyway, The Diplomat is the bomb. It is fucking good, and it's smartly written. It's the same smart writing as The West Wing, and if you know, you know. um, I'm so happy for Sinners. I saw Sinners. Sinners was fucking amazing. I'm running through, and it's like I saw it yesterday. That's how vivid it's still in my mind. Most of the big moments, the music, the dancing, the cultural evolution you see in it's so beautiful. The only thing I did not like was that one of the twins gets killed and one survives because he becomes a vampire with the girl that he loves, and I would have loved to see them both as vampires living all these years. It would have been so fucking amazing. Um, and I love that their names that they were chosen. I don't know if they were their birth names or their nicknames, but it was Smoke and Stack, and I love shit like that. That's so cool. Um, so yeah, Michael B. Jordan won the Best Actor award for that, and Viola Davis's reaction to that whole thing was great. Everyone was like trying to figure out what did she say? What was that she said? Because she's so excited, and you really don't get the whole thing. But it's a line from Joe Turner's "Come and Gone." And how's it go? You're shining. Oh, I forgot the character's name. Basically, Michael is shining in this moment. It was wonderful. It was so cool to see. Um, oh, it's you're shining Harold Loomis. You're shining Harold Loomis. I forgot I wrote it down right here. Um, yeah, he looks so handsome up there, and I'm I thought there would be some tears. Maybe I didn't see the tears or whatever, but I think that because of where he's come in this journey with this show and where he started, I don't know if y'all remember when he was in The Wire. I was like, that dude is gonna go far. Um, jealous, but happy. Uh, he was gonna go far. But you could see the resolve in his demeanor and the joy and the pride he felt in his accomplishment. And he is a good actor. I mean, he is a good actor. He is a good actor. Um, BAFTA can kick rocks. I'm never watching, never supporting, never caring about BAFTA ever again. For those who don't know, BAFTA is the UK version of the Oscars. Um, First of all, the whole okay, there are many facets to this part of it, and that I personally find offensive is what's come to light is there was a lot of editing done to the show before it aired for other reasons. Like there was a an acceptance speech where they said something about Israel and Free Palestine that was edited out, and a few other things. Something that what's his name? Oh, shit, I forgot his name. The host of the night. Something he had said and was edited out, but they miraculously seem to have missed the N word being shouted out by someone who has Tourette's. Um, and they were on a delay as well, from what I understand. All of that could have been edited out. And I mean, even when I heard it, I was like, it, you could see it in their faces. They're like, what the do we? To me, in my head, in my mind, from what I was seeing them, they held it down because they had to do their thing. But they are bigger men than me because I would have just simply put the envelope down, turned around, walked off. I would not have entertained any of that. I wouldn't have stayed for any of that. I wouldn't have done any of that. Um, Mr. Lindo, he's an elder. He's someone I admire a lot. I loved his work in The Good Fight because that's the most I've ever got to see him do anything. Um, I know he's been an actor in many films, but I'm a fan. And the way he just I don't know how to describe it. You can see it was in their faces, and then it just went into their bodies how they steeled themselves because they knew this is not the place or the time um, to respond to that. And they still haven't really. He was interviewed. I saw a clip on somewhere that he was being interviewed, and the interviewer was doing the opening promo hook or whatever. We're gonna get into that, and he started chuckling, saying, "No, we're not." He's like, "I don't want to talk about this." He doesn't need to talk about it. Um, I was just trying to remember his name again. But so we're dismissing or excusing the fact that this person has Tourette's and we should understand and be mindful. But what was not expressed was the the violence and the harm that word in that term with the hard R has. And there's no apology for what they did, because if you were able to edit out all this other stuff that you thought was too politically toxic, that right there is a reason to hold it down, right? For people. And one of the things that I loved about UK television and films, and for the most part, is they're very interracial. They're very interracial. I just had a thought. Is it maybe because of the stock that they have and the people that they're close by? I mean, they're just very interracial. I mean, from TV shows to the films, there's so many people. Asians, blacks, South Americans, Latinos, it's so interracial, and you're like, oh my God, I can relate to this entire show because I see even the new with what's that one with Industry. There's so many different kinds of people because it's a portray. Anyway, um, yeah, BAFTA can fuck off. They lost a fan. Um, so I binged Bridgerton this week, and okay, I like Bridgerton because it's what if it's just very romantical, and I just love it. I love the costumes, especially the men's costumes are so beautiful. Um, I love I love everything about it. I don't like the fact that though it's a lot of the people of color. It just seems like the people of color who are not native to this part of the world are just assimilating themselves into this part of the world. for equality. I don't know. There is a good side to this and there's a bad side to this, but it's mostly because of Queen Charlotte elevating people, I suppose, right? If you watch Queen Charlotte, which is great. I love this. It's beautiful. Um, uh, I'm so excited that they moved the needle in more visibility. So far, okay, I'm trying to use the right words here. They moved the needle as far as sexuality in making bisexuality very upfront and present with Benedict. And I love that because I'm glad they didn't make him just the gay brother. He's the bi brother because if you haven't watched it, he's been with men, he's been with women, and it's very and the sensuality of it all was always there because he was a playboy. He was the second son. He knew a lot of responsibilities were not really on his shoulders. So he could just, be himself and just explore the world and, just show up when he needed to show up, but the world was his oyster and he explored it all. I love, like I said, the interracial couplings just up front and center for all to see. The the uh the fact that he told his love interest, which I found out in the books, that he was searching for her for like 2 years or something like that. Um, that he came out to her as being bi, and I I thought it was kind of like a womp womp the way she reacted to it, but I think maybe in my head, if I'm analyzing it, maybe she was a little shy. She didn't want to ask questions, but she just was happy to be there with him. But I would have been like, really, tell me more. What is that like for you? All of that. Um, but I love how they let him come out as being bi, and I think it's wonderful. Um, the Lord Kilmartin's death, that took me by surprise. One, okay, I was feeling really uncomfortable for a very superficial reason because um, his skin tone and um, Fran's skin tone, she was so porcelain white and he was so onyxly black that them together, it was beautiful to see how they would just and how they were interact with each other. But I was like, I found myself uncomfortable when they were intimate because I'm like, what are people thinking? Like, are they gonna get hate mail? I hope they're okay. I was worrying about them, and I don't know where that came from. But I was like, they look so cute together, even when they were courting. It was adorable. The two nerds found each other, and I was like, yes. I mean, even the nerds like finding love in Bridgerton. This is great. But I did find myself upset because the way he died, it's like it was very sudden. I'm like, this is weird. Um, and the finale of it all just fell flat. I mean, the queen letting Lady uh, uh, Danbury go off and find her people. Um, it's still romantic and beautiful. So yeah, I think there's one more and then that's it, right? So we'll see. All right, folks. I didn't really plan this to be a long one, but it's going to be a long one. So detoxing from social media is it's going to be hard. Um, and you'll understand why in a minute. So first of all, the addiction has been proven. Uh, First of all, we're constantly bombarded with ads uh, trying to sell you something, either a promise, a dream, a career. They're constantly trying to separate you from your money. They even caught me a couple times with some shit that I bought for the kids, and I'm like, it's garbage. It's just relentless. So, what can we do? What do we do? Where can we turn? It, it's it's a tough mess, and my notes are like messing with me right now because, right, I wish I had a better app to use for my notes. But anywho, um, so one study from 2012, and I'm going to read it so this way you guys can know. And the link is down below. You can read the study. Let me get my glasses. I don't want to struggle. I'm trying not to struggle. These are my old glasses. I like these a lot, but the prescription is dying, and this happens. I don't know how that happened. This is another rant. 200 bucks for the frames, and look at this. Okay, anywho. All right, so okay, a 2012 study of college students with mobile phone dependence tracked structural changes to the brain similar to what has been discovered in the brains of individuals with substance addiction. Um, Leading addiction experts have said the dopamine cycle initiated by social media use mirrors that seen in drug users. What do you do with that? What do you do with that? I see, and I see it myself. There, people on the train, they have their kids, they give the kids an iPad, and the kid is playing a game, and it's just colorful, and the games, and response, and it reminds me of that episode of Star Trek with those things they put over their face, and it was a virtual game that every time they got the disc to go into the funnel, they kind of hit like a rush of something, and then you had to do it more and more and more to get that same. It's that's what it is. All right, so check out that article there. Then there was a 2016 study of people suffering from gaming addiction found their neurological responses to game cues mirrored those seen in drug addicts experiencing physical cravings. So, and Matt, think about it this way: if you're a smoker and you don't have a cigarette, you run out of cigarettes, you can't get to a cigarette. That craving for nicotine, that's what that is. What do you do with that? The link for that article is below too. Then there's the meta internal research CNN article that came out in February, and it goes into a lot of detail. But the files raise new questions about Meta knowing about the risks of the platform, especially in young people. So keep them engaged, keep them scrolling, keep them, show them their friends and what their friends are doing or other people. You can be beautiful like me if you just do these things, all that shit. Um, and then to get a perspective on more studies that were done for this, for your own edification, Diary of a CEO interview with social psychologist Jonathan Haidt, Haidt, and Harvard physician Dr. Aditi Nerurkar, Nerurkar. Nerurkar. I'm sorry, Doc, if I ruined that. They reveal how tech addiction and short-term videos are rotting your brain, and why AI chatbots could cause the next global addiction crisis. Because believe it or not, there are people who are creating these chatbots like they're dating and best friends and all of that stuff, where creating even families, which reminds me of that Voyager episode where the doctor created a whole holographic family and he programmed them to be, real people, and they died from different. It's very weird. It's a weird episode, but interesting because he was exploring humanity, right? Anyway, you should check out this interview, Diary of a CEO. The link is below. I really want you to check it out because the information is what's going to help you, I think, if you're looking to detox or figuring out why you cannot relinquish your phone for like 15 minutes. And it's not just the phone itself, it's the apps. They're draining me of everything, my time. For one, I fall into a rabbit hole because at first I look for something because I'm going to write or create an episode or get data or know what I'm talking about. So and then I fall into a rabbit hole because something grabs my attention, and then this and then that. Oh, and then I see somebody I know, and then they posted, and I'm like, oh shit, what the fuck was I doing? Oh yeah, let me go back. And I look at a note, and I'm like, oh okay, it's in that, and then I fall back in. And I'm like, and next thing I know, 4 hours have gone by. I'm like, what the fuck? Then my attention, I mean, every 7 seconds or so, people will reach for their phone. They've done this research test. Me, I try to, like, all the way over there, if you can see it, that's like my floating night table stand. I have my phone charger, it's a docking station for my watch, my AirPods, and my phone. But I leave it there because my alarm goes off in the morning, and I've tried to leave it here on the desk. Um, I don't like getting up when I don't have to, or I'll scream across the room. You know who, snooze. I don't want to say because then she'll wake up. Um, but doing it over there is just better. I don't have to get up out of bed. And I'm not ready to get up because I'm not ready to get up. Anyway, um, so it's there, and if I have my iPad over there, which is holding a light, so I can't show it to you. But my iPad is right here. This is where I like watch a film while I'm eating or I'm doing something. I'll have it over there on the stand, and something boring is happening. I'm not interested into this thing happening, and I'll reach for the phone, and the phone is going, and I'm fiddling on my phone, and I think I mentioned this in another time where how films are made or how they're uh, created in a way because they're playing to the audience because they know most people are on their phone, so they're what's the word? They're indicating instead of really acting. They're indicating what they're doing just so your ears are like, oh, that's what's going on over there. Um, they're doing their best, but I mean that it seems that way, right? So there's that. So they know people are on their phones, so they're trying to keep them engaged somehow. Or I'm trying to read. I'm hold on a second. I'm reading a play that I found by a Puerto Rican writer. I can't focus. I really can't focus. I think I've read the same few pages like 4 times. I'm still reading Heated Rivalry. I'm on chapter 6. Every time I pick it up, my attention just drifts away. I've been trying. I'll come back to it. So yeah, I can't. It's hard to watch something because my attention doesn't stick for long, especially if I'm bored. And I can't read because I can't focus. Or if I'm working, it's really tough. So it's robbing me of my attention. It's robbing me of my money. I went through because there were some things that I was subscribed to that I'm like, do I really need this? And especially it's a time of year where everything's going up in New York. So I had to really look at my budget. What do I do? What don't I need and what do I need? So I got rid of a bunch of stuff. And what I kept is like my guitar apps that I use to practice my bass and my guitar because there's classes and practice sessions. All that is paid and it's worth it. Absolutely worth it for the money. So I kept those. I dumped the shit that I don't need. Um, so yeah, if you don't know how to do this and you don't forgot what you're subscribed to, because a lot of people forget what they're subscribed to. Go into subscriptions and go to the gray wheel thingy, the settings on your phone. Go to type in subscriptions in the search bar, and then it'll take you to whatever you're subscribed to is there, and you can end it. Like it doesn't. I was gonna name it app, but no. Oh yeah, and then because of that, the ads that are constantly on selling you stuff, it's really infuriating because these things are listening to you. We all know this, okay? So I can't have a conversation or think about something that I want to. And I say think because I could be thinking about something, then all of a sudden it's there. I don't know. The constant bombardment of ads is just out of control. Everything is an ad, especially if you're into something. Like when I got Max, I was researching pet insurance because I'm really considering because having him, having Tony girl, they're important to me, and I want to I don't have out of pocket money to take him to the vet, and I know especially him, he's going to need the vet. How much is this going to cost me? I'm just researching, finding ways to like just looking at information. All of a sudden, all of my social media is throwing ads at me to buy pet insurance, and why one is better than the other, and I'm like. I thought I fixed that before because you could pull out those codes and reset, but they found a way around it. Um, yeah, cancel what you're not using, and then my mental focus. Like I said, I can't focus on the colorful short form videos give you a dopamine hit, so it's like it'll keep your attention. Whereas you're reading in black and white on a paper, nothing is activating your pleasure center, I suppose, and that's why you're not focusing on that. For me, I guess when I was in class, I had to learn my lines for my performances because I had to learn them. There was no choice in that. But what I did do, because when I was doing a lot of my studying and memorizing at work, I would leave my phone up in my locker, which I normally don't like to do because if there's an emergency and we have to bug out of there, I have nothing on me. Um, so I would leave it up there, knowing that it's nowhere near me and I can't go up there because I'm on duty. I have my book and I can focus on that. That's the only time it worked. Yeah, so the short form colorful videos do that to you, and the games as well. They keep you engaged, like Candy Crush and all of that. I beg you, if you play those Tetris, Candy Crush, all those things are messing with your brain in such a way. And I'm not like this crazy conspiracy person. The facts are in, the data is there. People of note, not like some weirdo um, TikToker is telling it. It's these are people who have careers in mental health and mental physician. Oh God, I can't speak all of a sudden. I'm sorry. Experts are ringing the damn bells. They're sounding the alarm. It's really fucking with your brains and how we think and how we function. Um, which brings me to the TikTok thing. You know, the trash versus value. Now, first of all, I don't know if you know if you knew this. You know, first of all, dump the damn app because of the U.S. controlling the U.S. algorithm. Even saying that sounds so stupid because like anyway, just dump it because I mean, even if it, I know a lot of people were making their livelihoods using TikTok, but the way they're doing it now, posts are getting shadow banned, they're being pushed to the side, they're not getting uploaded. You know, it's craziness of what's going on, and it's fucking with people's money. And I'm sure they see exactly who's getting what, so they're like, oh, that's where money's going. Let's, you know, we want to keep that money. Somehow they're going to find a way to take your money. Did you know that China, in China, TikTok shuts off at a certain hour? I was surprised at that. They have strict rules on everything over there, but for TikTok, it shuts off at a certain hour. Let's say 10, because I don't remember the exact time. Let's say 10 o'clock at night. It turns off. If they're pushing anything or something at the users, it's like follow these important figures, their accomplishments, who they are, what they've done for China, who they are, all that stuff. Um, and they set all kinds of limits on all kinds of apps because they know what it's going to do to young minds. In America, TikTok will push you garbage. When I downloaded it again just to see, because I was going to try to really make an effort to use it financially, right away, uh, because of Bad Bunny and the album and all of that, a lot of my feed was all about Bad Bunny and the album and the residency and all of that, which was fine. Then I started seeing ads for Ice. Then I started seeing ads for pet insurance. And I started seeing all kinds of stuff that it just started going nuts. So then I tried to reset and get just what I was interested in and follow people and it works differently than Instagram. I kind of thought it would work like Instagram, but I think what you put in is what you get back out, something like that. I don't know. But I was not enjoying it. I was not enjoying it at all. And not so much, I didn't really, I cared about people I knew posting, but I really wanted just to post and just go. But it was like, once I picked it up, I was like, what is this? Like, how do I get past it? I'm too old to understand TikTok. So I dumped it. Then all the data came out and, you know, the US thing taking over the US algorithm that made it even worse. So yeah, they feed you garbage. You've got Karen and Kevin, and I'm sorry for every Karen and Kevin I know, but you got their rampages going on. Like, you know, one person posts, and then the next thing you know, there's more. Just because you looked at it more than 30 seconds, more and more will start coming through. And I think that's how they get you as well. Not that you like it or interact with it, but if you stay looking at something for longer or a particular amount of time, you're like, oh, there's this viewer is interested in this content. Let's give them more of that. And it would be these lunatic people just bothering people, and stupid kid pranks too. like the the we used to do the ding dong knock DoorDash thing back in the 70s, but you didn't get shot doing it. I think it's stupid. Anyway, it's a lot, and it's making me emotional and giving me anxiety. But the whole point, because I really, honestly, guys, I really did not want to do this episode, but I felt it was important because I realized how I was starting to react to my phone and how I was interacting with what I was creating. And in the beginning, I just created, posted, and let it be. And I wasn't really trying to get a lot of engagement. But to monetize, you have to say the words and ask the engagement. I figure, if people want to do that, they're gonna do that. But I found myself falling into the trap where checking to see what's going on instead of being creative. So I moved myself back to the creative part, which brings me to the tips from the experts, the two doctors that I mentioned. What was his name? He's Dr. Jonathan, the social psychologist Jonathan. He suggests deleting the slot machine apps, like the colorful ones that play the games and all of that. Also Instagrams, uh, Facebook, all of that stuff. Because he made a point. All of that stuff you can interact with on your laptop. You don't have to do it with your device, which is constantly with you and on you, and you're hitting the dopamine all the time. Remember, back in the day, Facebook was just on your computer, like, MySpace, and you checked in to see what was going on, and then you checked out. That was it. I would post something, see who people, and it was, people you were following is all you ever saw. You didn't see anything else. And then more and more people you connected to, the more and more stuff, then people started falling to the bottom until it was more of that, and then you would just walk away. And they changed it where they constantly have it, but you can still go on your laptops or your computers and do that. You can upload photos, you can make a comment, you can see blah blah blah, and then you can walk away, because this you can't take with you, right? I'm going here because my laptop is right there. He really the apps that keep you engaged, Facebook, Instagram, X, gaming apps, all of that, get them off your phone, because technically this was really not meant for it to be a toy, right? um and back when we had flip phones, that's what you used it for, to make calls and to text people, or get in touch. Hey, where are you? I'm at the corner of blah blah blah, meeting. Okay, we're all heading to Roxy in 15 minutes. Boom. um the physician, she says, Dr. Aditi, Aditi, she offers grayscaling your phone, meaning turning the colors into a grayscale, which it won't affect your mind that way. Um, the vibrant colors, she says, vibrant colors keep your attention, and it doesn't have an addictive feel to it, and it reduces the compulsion to scroll. So if you put everything to black and white or a scale, my apps are all kind of like on a uh, right now they're colored because I changed my wallpaper. Do you want to see my wallpaper? I'll show you my wallpaper. This is my wallpaper. That's my wallpaper. Shut up. Um, but the apps all look like this now because I haven't changed it. Normally I have it like on a solid like color, which I'll do now. I'll show you what I mean. Customize and clear. Is it clear or tinted? The tinted ones, yeah. Like it'll match the color. And I'm not a fan of green, but it'll match the phone, and I'm like, that just blends in all together for me. That doesn't. And plus, I'm colorblind, so it helps me stay away from it. It doesn't give me a headache. Let's see. Okay. So now you know. And that's because I got this case, and I thought I ordered the blue one, but this came in the mail, and I thought it was. I'm told it's green. I don't know what color it is. I think it's green, so I just matched the color of the screen to match it. I'm handicapped. I'm not making fun of that. Being colorblind is very distressful. Just so you understand, I can see color. It's just certain shades of color, I mistake them for other colors, or they blend together and I can't tell which is which. Certain shades of red and green do that to me. Blues and greens do that to me. I'm technically blue-green colorblind. I know my glasses are blue, but what kind of blue next to another blue, I can't tell. Um, all of that. Uh, Street light here. The street lights. The I know it's red, yellow, green, but what I see is white, orange, um, green. Yeah, white, orange, and green. That's what I see. I just know if it's the top light is on, stop. That's how I function in the world, folks. That's all right. All right. So yeah, that's one of her suggestions. She also suggests keeping small tweaks like keeping your devices out of reach, limiting your usage, removing all notification except important ones. Like for instance, this was from Dr. Johnson. He says like Uber and Lyft or whatever. You know that's important to keep that notification up because you know want to know when your car is coming. That was his. But I don't know if you have one like some laundry apps. You know once you because you can pay and activate machines with your phone, it will give you the app itself will alert you when the cycle is running out. I had one of those for a while. Anything important, you know, if you have use my chart for your doctor's appointments, you know, you want have a, you know, you have an appointment coming up on this day, blah blah, all that jazz. And then she also suggests again to stop, breathe, and be. And I thought this was really cool because if you're especially for young people and if you know young people who are in this situation, get them to like chill out for a second. What you want to do is reset your brain. Take 3 seconds to reset before you check your device. She says to stop, breathe, and be. Ground yourself in a pleasant moment. Think back into think about the here and now. Ground yourself. Right now, I'm just looking at my desk and I'm doing this, and I'm okay. I'm having coffee. It's morning. I'm happy. I have no interest in scrolling or doing because I'm actually busy right now. But do those things, and then decrease decrease what future focused thinking. What if future focused thinking? Because future. Let me start out because I want to be clear. Decrease what if future focused thinking, meaning that the future focus thinking about things in the future is anxiety producing. So like me, like I said once last time, I catastrophize a lot if I wasn't taking the medication that's keeping me from overthinking and being compulsive obsessive. I'm not over there. I'm here. I'm like, ugh, I'll deal with whatever when it happens. So yeah, focusing on the here and now and grounding yourself and not worrying about what's on the phone or what have you. Time of the reflection. So, um, so yeah, I have lots of ideas that I'm going to share with you about um, what I do. Some of the stuff I already mentioned, but it's like the list of things that I do to help with my constant wanting to pick up the phone. You're gonna have to come back later for that because I'm gonna talk about that on the side. But I want to know from you now. You tell me. Do you have a device addiction? You're addicted to your phone? Do you think you might be addicted to your phone? Think about it. Want to know? Tell me. If you don't give a shit or you don't care, you're like, oh, this is stupid. So I want to hear that too. No judgments. I judge not. So there it is, folks. Until next time, thank you so much for being here. I really do appreciate you just listening to me and watching me talk about stuff. If you made it this far, drop the no phones emoji. It's the red circle, the international symbol for no, and then the phone is in there. The no phone emoji. Did I say no smoking? That too. No smoking. Um, and of course, if you're watching on YouTube, thanks for being here. Like, follow, subscribe, share, hit the bell. All the notifications come up when new stuff is happening. If you're listening, thank you wherever you're listening. I know I'm on Apple Podcasts. I'm on iHeartRadio. I'm on Buzzsprout. I love you, Buzzsprout. You guys are awesome. And wherever you listen to pods, hit that like button. Follow along. 5 stars is great because then it just moves me up in the standing, and I could be #1 someday. I don't know. 5 stars, please. Appreciate it. Um, yeah. So listen, I'm like I've been saying, I'm trying to keep this, ad free. I know eventually I will run some ads, but it'll be ads that I create for myself, for you guys. I'm trying to keep it ads free. So, anything you can do by joining over on Patreon, that would be great because that's where all the bonus segments are and the content, extra content. And sometimes you get to see stuff before everybody else. You might even see this episode watching it now before anybody else is seeing it. So head over there. And the same thing with Buzzsprout too. You get to listen to the whole thing before anybody else if you sign up there. I'm trying to figure out how to do behind the scenes stuff. I think I'm gonna have to get someone to help me do that because I can't hold the phone to do behind my scenes, which would be silly. And if can you see Max? He's kind of like looking over at me now. Hi, Baba. Yeah, I see your tail. We get so happy. So, all right, thanks for being here. Have a great week. Happy welcome to daylight savings. I forgot to mention that earlier. Spring ahead, you're gonna lose an hour, but the sun goes down at like 7 something today. Yay! It's gonna get warmer too. We have no seasons anymore. It's just gonna go hot. I think it's 70s next week. All right, guys. Peace out. Be safe. Great week. Mwah. Love you.